You don't want none! You don't want none!
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ, the Tar Heel. And in this huddle, baby, we're going to talk about the North Carolina Tar Heels taking on the Ole Miss Rebels in the first round of the NCAA tournament out in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 4:05 p.m. this Friday on TNT, man. But before we get into the details of this fairly monumental ACC SEC clash, man, I want to take a second to thank the Huddle Hooligans for all of their support. It's only $4.99 a month, man. Find that join button down there somewhere below the stinking video, and you can get access to the Discord and be part of the army as well. Now, live reaction and watch party this Friday at 4 p.m. So come hang out with your boys. We watch our heels try and take another step in silencing all these stinking haters out there. And there is a possibility that it could be our last one of the season, right? It's March Madness time. You never know when it's going to end. So notice that I said a possibility. So don't stinking miss out on the watch party. And now that all the stinking admin stuff is out of the way, man, let's jump into this thing. And we'll start it off by first looking at some common opponents. And there are fairly a good amount, if you will, from both of these teams. Now, Ole Miss and North Carolina have played Louisville, Alabama, Auburn, and Florida. So 4 common opponents. Ole Miss has beat Louisville 86-63. North Carolina lost to Louisville out there at their place 83-70. Ole Miss beat Alabama 74-64. Carolina lost 94-79. Ole Miss lost to Auburn 3 times, 92-82, 106-76, an absolute shellacking, and then 62-57 in the SEC tournament. And UNC lost 85-72. Ole Miss lost to Florida 90-71, and Carolina lost to Florida 90-84. But obviously, as we recall, Carolina was in a good position at one point to win that basketball game. Now, the interesting thing about these games, as far as Carolina's concerned, is that all of these were from January 1st and back. And we all know, if we've been watching Carolina basketball all year, that that was a completely different team, if you will. Now, the Heels are coming off of a 95-68 obliteration of the San Diego State Aztecs in the first 4 game out in Dayton, Ohio. At one point, they had a 40-point stinking lead, right? Carolina was not only firing on all cylinders offensively, but that renewed sense of urgency on the defensive side of the floor, man, left almost no chance for the Aztecs to be competitive in that game. Now, Carolina is 9-2 in their last 11 games, and their only losses have been to the number 1 team in the country, and their average margin of victory over that span has been 18.1 points per game, right? So Carolina, once again, has been an absolutely different team. The Heels are led by head coach Hubert Davis, who is now 101-44 in his 4th year at the University of North Carolina, which is good for a .697 win percentage. The Heels' leading scorer is a 6', 180-pound senior guard, RJ Davis, who's averaging 17.3 points per game, 3.4 rebounds, and 3.7 assists, while shooting 41.5% from the field and 36.2% from 3. Their leading rebounder is a 6'8", 230-pound junior forward, Van Allen Lubin, who's averaging 5.6 rebounds per game, along with 8.6 points. And he's been in double figures a lot, scoring-wise, as of late. And their leading facilitator is the 6'1", 180-pound sophomore point guard, Elliot Cadeau, who had a ridiculous game against San Diego State. He's averaging 6.2 assists per game to 3.1 turnovers, which is good for a 2-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. And he's also contributing 9.5 points and 2.9 rebounds. The Ole Miss Rebels, okay, they last played on March 14th, so it's basically been a week with no stinking basketball for these guys, and they lost to the Auburn Tigers 62-57 in a really competitive basketball game, man. Ole Miss was 3-5. 3 wins, 5 losses down the stretch. Very close wins against Arkansas and Oklahoma. They did also beat number 4 Tennessee. And then their 5 losses include losses to number 22 Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Florida, and Auburn twice. So the Rebs are led by head coach Chris Beard. He is 42-23 in his second year at the school. It's good for a .646 win percentage. And their leading scorer and assist man is the 6'1", 195-pound senior guard, Sean Pedulla, who's averaging 14.9 points per game, 3.5 boards, and 3.6 assists and 1.9 turnovers. Now, many of you remember Pedulla, Carolina fans that is, from his 3 years at Virginia Tech prior to transferring to Ole Miss. And just for clarification, the last time he played Carolina was actually last year, where he scored 10 points on 3 for 13 shooting. He did have 6 boards and 5 assists in a 96-81 loss to the Tar Heels. Now, their leading rebounder is a 6'9", 250-pound junior forward, Malik Dia, who is averaging 5.7 rebounds per game while also contributing 10.6 points per game. Now, an interesting thing to note about the Ole Miss Rebels is the fact that they have 6 players that are averaging double figures, right? So obviously you got Pedulla at 14.9, but they got Brakefield, Morrell, Dia, Murray, and Davis that are all averaging 10 points per game. And I mean like 10 points per game on the dot. So they spread their scoring out pretty stinking well. So now that we've looked at the tail of the tape, let's get into Russ's 3 keys to a Tar Heel victory. And key number 1 is this, man. Defensive intensity, okay? This Ole Miss team can score the basketball. So can the Heels. But if the Heels can show the type of focus and attention to detail on the defensive end of the floor that they did the first half of that San Diego State game, Carolina will be in prime position to get out of the first round with a W. Ole Miss is not a very big basketball team, much like the University of North Carolina. So, assuming Drake Powell is the starting 3, I'd really like to see him obviously draw that assignment on Pedulla, and then Seth can lock him down when he comes off of the bench, because that's what Carolina has been doing as of late. Got to stay in these guards' chest. Got to lock them down, man. And if Carolina can do that, kind of like they did against Boyd and Bird for San Diego State, Carolina will be sitting pretty, man. I really feel confident about that. Key number 2, push the pace. Carolina did a phenomenal job of pushing the tempo against the Aztecs, right? A team that was one of the tops in the country in defensive statistics. Carolina needs to continue to push the pace, right? Not allowing Ole Miss to set their defense up. The more Carolina can score on the break, the better opportunity they have of overwhelming the Rebs. Yes, I understand that Ole Miss also likes to get up and down the floor, but this is literally Carolina's strong suit. And Carolina is a different team when they effectively push the pace. And key number 3, payback. You say payback, they haven't even played Ole Miss this year. No, but Carolina has been playing with a chip on their shoulder, and outsiders still don't respect them. And then you even factor in the sense that Carolina has not fared well against the SEC as of late. 0-3 this year alone, right? Albeit it was, against the best 3 teams in that conference. It's time for some stinking payback against the vaunted SEC, as they say. Carolina needs to keep that chip on their shoulders, man, and show the world that this Southeastern Conference supremacy, this crap stops in March. And that'll take us to the prediction portion of the show. Now, the ESPN matchup indicator gives the Heels a 56.3% chance at beating the Rebs at the time of this video. And the Heels are currently 1.5-point favorites. So, they're, the powers that be, the professionals of this thing, they are expecting a close one. Here's what happens in my opinion. Ole Miss is a smaller team, like I said, just like the Hill. So this one just happens to be a really great matchup for Carolina. And the Rebs like to run too, but that plays right into Carolina's hands. The difference in this one is going to be the defensive tenacity exhibited by North Carolina. The Heels have held 6 of their last 10 opponents to under 70 points. Might not be able to smother Ole Miss that much per se, but Carolina defends well enough to walk away late. And Carolina is once again playing their best basketball at the right time. So I think it's going to be Carolina's defensive tenacity that is the difference in this game. And I think that they're going to score enough to where they can still actually comfortably walk away late. I got North Carolina 84, Ole Miss 74, and another how you like me now moment for the Heels, man. So you let me know what you think about this game down in the comment section, Tar Heel and Rebel Nation. Is your boy onto something? Or am I sitting up there in the nosebleeds having no idea what the heck I'm talking about? Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel on your way out. You already know, baby, it's a great day to be a Tar Heel. We'll catch you during the live stream and watch party, baby. Go Heels.